Welcome to Unstoppable, where dreams turn into plans and plans turn into powerful action. Hosted by Paula Swain, financial planner, business owner, grandma, and queen of reinvention. This show is for women ready to stop surviving and start thriving. We'll laugh, we'll learn, and we'll tackle the messy, beautiful, in-between parts of life that no one really talks about, but we all live through. This is Unstoppable.
Hi, and welcome to Unstoppable. I'm Paula Swain, financial planner and owner of the Financial Center for Women. And I often talk with my clients about whether they should purchase a vehicle or lease it. And a lot of my retired female clients prefer to lease because it gives them that safety and that security of knowing that the car's new. They're going to get another one in a couple of years. It's under warranty. They don't have to worry about breaking down. So that makes them feel safe. But I also know that there's some disadvantages to leasing, and because, well, one, you just never even own the car. It's really the dealership that owns that car. So I thought, let's reach out to an expert and see what they have to say. So welcome Alexis Parks with LaFontaine Automotive Group. She is the finance manager?
Yes, I'm one of the finance managers. Mm-hmm.
So welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
And I know you're also a little nervous.
Yes, I'm very nervous, but excited.
We're going to have fun.
Yes.
We're going to talk about a topic that I don't think anybody ever talks about.
No, I think cars can be definitely one of those subjects that's kind of touchy. It's not necessarily the most fun process when you have to purchase a vehicle. It can be kind of lengthy, but with the right information, it can definitely make it a lot easier.
Okay, quick question for you. I lease. Mm-hmm. I've been leasing for probably, this is my 7th year, but I think when my lease is up, I'm going to buy it.
Okay. I also lease my vehicle.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, is that what you do?
I do lease
it?
my vehicle. And like you were kind of touching on, I think a lot of retired people do go that route of leasing a vehicle. I'm on the other spectrum of just being single and I'm by myself, and it's just nice to have that comfort, like you were saying, of just knowing that your overall cost of ownership is pretty low when it comes to a lease. So.
Yeah, when I decided to lease, and my lease was just up in December, and so I went on Christmas Eve and picked up my car. Oh. Nice Christmas present to myself. Yeah. I actually used Chat GBT, and I put in all the financials for the thing, like if I bought it, if I was looking at this car, and if I bought it versus the lease payment, and you know what? It really came out to be the same.
Yeah, I think it depends on, overall what you were looking for. What ultimately made you decide?
Right. Well, actually, one vehicle came out to be the same. The other vehicle was just, there was no deals or anything on it, so it ended up being more expensive. So that was just sense. That was easy to just go buy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's talk about the advantages of leasing versus buying, and then the advantages of buying versus leasing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the biggest advantages we had kind of just touched on is that you're in a newer vehicle, mechanically everything's taken care of for you, during that time frame. You're really just worried about those oil changes, tire rotations.
But you can include that in your lease payment.
You can. So those are things that I think that's what a lot of people like from a budgeting standpoint. A lease is a fixed monthly payment. You're not having to account for, if my car breaks down, in a couple of years. Really, your biggest thing that you're accounting for is just your insurance and that
car payment.
Pretty much just that. Now, I will say from a financial standpoint, if you're someone who drives a lot of miles or you don't want a car payment and you want that vehicle long term, then you might be someone who is looking at purchasing versus leasing.
Yeah, I made that mistake because I was good with 13.5, but I was living in Royal Oak, and I just moved out to Waterford. Yeah. And anything in Waterford takes a half an hour to get there. Because you just got to go like this the entire time, which
that was
adds
us
on
coming up here.
so much time to getting somewhere. And I'm like already over my allotted miles, so I'm like, it's okay. It'll all work out.
Right.
But
yeah, and that's
you have to watch that.
Absolutely. You definitely have to take that into account when you're leasing a vehicle. My sister, she just purchased a new vehicle. She's recently graduated from college, and we ultimately went the route of purchasing versus leasing because she doesn't know where her life is going to be in a couple
Right.
years from now. If you're someone who drives a lot of miles now, or you're thinking about moving down the road, those are factors to take into account because over mileage can add up and be pretty costly versus someone who knows like, hey, I'm going to be in this area for an extended period of time.
You do. If you go over mileage, you can either pay for it
Right.
or you could buy the car.
Yeah, and there's actually additional coverages that you can purchase for the vehicle, so that way it actually gives you a little bit of a buffer. So if you are going over your mileage, that's also something that can be factored into your lease payment, like a lease protect.
I wonder if I did that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
definitely something to look into when you're buying or when you're leasing the vehicle, because those are different options that you can add to your lease to give yourself additional coverage.
One other thing with leasing is you still have to take care of the car. You still have to oil changes, tire, whatever you do with the tires.
The tire rotations, yeah.
Thank you. I might use thingy a lot in this conversation.
Oh, no, that's okay.
And also, you got to be cautious of damage.
Yes, yeah, because ultimately, I mean, like you were saying, I mean, you're basically renting the car for the time that you're using it, and you know, the bank will always account for that normal wear and tear and maintenance on a vehicle every day, but you know, outside of that, that is something that you can be responsible for. But again, there are different, you know, coverages that you can purchase to still ultimately protect yourself. So,
Yeah, when I was going through deciding on what all of those protections, they talked to me about that, and they shared an example of how some people don't fix the car and just let the dealership fix it because they have this protection. They don't have to make a claim.
yeah, they don't
On
have
their
to make a
insurance.
claim to their insurance company. And one of the many advantages is, you know, when you do turn the vehicle in, if you are over miles or you do have damage on it, that is something that you can kind of negotiate. The dealer will help work with you on, you know, getting that taken care of, or maybe that's something we can just roll over into the next vehicle. But I think what's nice about it, even if you are rolling over into the next vehicle, you're only locked into that lease for, say, 2 or 3 years, versus someone on a purchase, when they roll over money, you're locked into that for however long you finance for. That
And
could
most
be
people
4,
have
5,
to-
6 years.
Most people have to go even longer than that.
Yes.
I think I don't know the statistic, but I would have bet that most people are probably looking at 84 months, 7 years.
Yeah, more often than not now. I mean, just with the overall cost of vehicles, you're definitely looking at more of a 6 to 7 year loan. I mean, we have some customers that are even going out to an 8-year loan at this point with the overall cost of
And
those
as
vehicles.
a financial planner, that makes me sick.
Yeah.
Because it's a vehicle that depreciates as soon
Right.
as you pull it off the lot.
100%.
And so we would consider that to be a bad debt,
Right,
you know.
right,
And-
absolutely.
But you have to have a vehicle. You have to be able to get around. So you need that. But okay, now I know you don't know the answer to this.
Oh, okay.
Why are cars just? I mean, when I was younger, I could buy a house. I'm going to age myself here. I think my first house was $30,000. And I used to say when I was doing my financial planning seminars, and I would talk to people that were quite a bit older than me, and I'd say, okay, you could buy a house for $11,000. You know, you can't even buy a car for that today. And now, some cars are like 50 and 60 grand. And
Oh, yeah.
It's how do people afford that? Especially like people like your sister.
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. I mean, like you said, the just overall cost of everything is so much more expensive. And I think affordability for them is taking it out that longer term. And they just have to know that when they decide to do that, that this is going to be a long-term investment. It's important to think, how much money am I going to put down, and you know, where do I need that payment to be? I think a lot of customers, that's why they tend to go towards leasing, because you can get a newer vehicle for typically a lower monthly payment than what it would have been to purchase the vehicle. Even if you decide to buy more miles for the vehicle, ultimately, at least at the end of that, you know, it's better to be in a situation where maybe you're over a couple thousand miles and you have a couple $100 in over mileage, versus hanging onto a vehicle, you know, long term and being upside down in it down the road.
And I think what I struggle with is the whole warranty situation. So if I'm going to have to purchase a car and it's going to take me 7 or 8 years to pay it off, the warranty on most vehicles, there isn't one. What is that?
Right.
3 years, 36,000 miles?
Yeah,
Which
them-
most people do 36,000 miles in 2 years.
Right.
So the warranty is really not 3 years.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's kind of why the manufacturer does the warranties the way that they do, is because they know that early on the vehicle's least likely to have a mechanical failure. But the positive part of that is that there are additional coverages that you can purchase through the dealer that
Do
based
people
on your
really
driving habits.
purchase those?
I would say customers are buying them a lot more often now than they did in the past. And the reason being is because you're locking yourself in for today's cost for tomorrow's expense. You know, the cost of everything is going up. And a lot of times now, it's really not like engine, transmission, those types of mechanical failures we're seeing. It's the computers, your sensors, your modules. So that's why we're seeing definitely a big uptick in purchasing additional coverages for the vehicle. So that way you can almost set your purchase up as if it were kind of like a lease, if you're someone who wants to own the vehicle long term.
Yeah, it's whole car, like all that techie stuff it's changed so much in vehicles.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know.
one of the reasons why the cost of vehicles are so expensive now, is because we put so much technology in them, which is great because you've got better safety measures and makes driving just a lot more comfortable, but there's always a cost to that.
Let's talk about that. Okay, really, I mean, if you truly, you need your car to put gas in it and get it from point A to point B. And yeah, you gotta have some music.
Yeah.
Heat, but you don't really need heated seats. You don't need heated steering wheels. Well, you do need air conditioning. Okay, like all those things that we've become accustomed to,
Right.
and usually the cars don't even come without that stuff. I mean, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's already included. But when you have to weigh in the navigation systems and the, you know, my car's got it's not called a moonroof anymore. It's
Like
called
a panoramic sunroof.
panoramic sunroof.
Yeah.
So like you have all those things that just make the price of that car go up and up. So how do you weigh all of that stuff with what you really just truly need, and that's to get from point A to point B,
Yeah,
heated
absolutely.
and air conditioned.
I think it definitely comes down to like your lifestyle, what your daily driving habits are like. You know, if you are someone who drives long distance, maybe having something like a blind spot monitor or lane keep assist is more beneficial for you versus someone who has
I don't
a
like
shorter
that.
drive.
I don't like that.
You know, like the lane keep. For me, like I don't drive super far, but I do like those things. So
Oh,
that's
no.
important to
No.
me versus
When I'm veering, I don't want you to tell me.
You're like, I don't need the correction.
No.
But if you're someone who drives, you know, maybe a shorter distance, maybe having that panoramic sunroof or, you know, having the built-in navigation isn't something that's important to you. So definitely just taking a look at your everyday driving habits and your lifestyle and budget as well. And that'll definitely help you narrow down what features are most important versus what aren't.
Yeah, I weigh all that. Like when I went in to get my lease, I'm like, I just want the basic car. I want heated seats. In Michigan, you have to have heated seats.
Yeah, I was going to
You
say
just
heated seats,
have
heated steering wheel, or at least
No, like I'm not sure I'm liking the heated steering wheel
Really?
because I think it dries my hands.
I love it. I'm always cold, so I'm a bad person to ask. So I'm like, give me all the heat.
Yeah, so I'm iffy on the heated seat. I do like the fact that I can press this button, my car, and when I'm stopped at a light, just sits there. I don't have to keep my feet on the brake. And I do like that. That's
Yeah.
really cool. But I don't like when your car stops running and then
Oh, yeah.
what's that? That's annoying.
Yeah, it's an auto stop start. A lot of dealers were doing
Yeah.
it for like emissions purposes for the vehicle, so it's common like across the board.
I know.
But that's probably the number one thing I hear from clients. They're like, how do I turn that auto stop start on and
Permanently.
off? And
Permanently off.
I don't know if there's a permanent way to
No,
do it.
you
I
just
could
have
be
to press the
wrong,
button.
but I was gonna say most
But
cars
you
will
remember
have.
to press the button, and then you remember to press the button when it's happening, and
Yep.
then you're like,
I think I've gotten so accustomed to it, I almost don't even notice it anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Alexis, I don't like it. I don't
You're
like
not
it.
alone with that feeling, so.
No. Oh, you know what else they need to do? I know we're getting totally off subject,
No, that's okay.
but when you have a ponytail, when you have a pony or a clip, there's no place to put your head.
Oh, that's so true. That's funny you say that because I always wear my hair in like a low bun, and that's like my biggest thing is I feel like I'm just leaned forward a little too much just because I've got
Every
don't
time
have enough
someone
room.
says they're an engineer for an automotive, I'm like, hey, can you put so I can put my pony or my clip,
Right.
and because I don't want to drive like this.
Right,
I want to
yeah.
be able to put my head back, but I can't because of the pony and the clip.
You're like, think of something and patent it, and then we'll both make money.
Well, I think you just need to put a hole
Right.
in the headrest.
Got to make
That-
it
we
aesthetically
just solved
pleasing.
world problems.
We did.
Yeah.
Actually, we did.
Solved my neck problem, right?
I was gonna say a lot of women will be happy with us with that that resolution.
I know. I tell every engineer, but nobody's.
No one's taken you up yet?
No.
I'll put in a note to GM.
Yeah. Please, or all of them.
Yeah.
All of
All
them.
the
'Cause you guys have
manufacturers.
like a ton of.
Yeah, we've got almost all the major brands, domestic, and import as well. So I work for Buick GMC.
Okay. Okay. So there's, I'm familiar with can't get the words out of my mouth.
LaFontaine.
Yeah, Toyota.
Okay, yeah.
Because I went to school, now we're talking many years ago, elementary school, St. Cyril's in Taylor with a LaFontaine.
Did you really?
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
I became familiar with that.
That's one of the stores that they started with.
Yes,
was their
one of
Toyota
their
store.
first stores, yeah.
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 We actually just celebrated 45 years.
Wow. Oh,
Very
I know
exciting.
we're really way off subject, but one of your stores has a clothing store in it.
That's probably the one that I work at.
Oh, is that?
Yes, so our store is Buick GMC Cadillac, and we do have a cafe and a boutique in there, which takes a lot of my money back because I spend way too much time in there, but it's definitely something
Beautiful
really
clothes.
very beautiful. They do a
Beautiful
great
clothes.
job of picking out clothes and jewelry, and they even got makeup in there, so.
Nice, nice. I haven't been in there yet. I was at a women's event and that they were there. So
Definitely
I
have to
got
check it out.
I got to see their clothing line. Okay, so we should get back on
Okay.
track. What about buying a new car or a used car?
Yeah, so buying a new versus used really just comes down to like long-term ownership. I think when someone's purchasing a vehicle that's new, they might be more specific about features that they're looking for, color that they want, interior, exterior, but they typically plan on keeping that vehicle for a very long time. And pre-owned is always a great option because you can, if you're someone that's not super particular on what it is that you're looking for, you can always get a much more cost-effective vehicle going the pre-owned route and still get something that's certified, so you can still get that, coverage from the manufacturer that most people are looking for.
I think I struggle with used cars because I don't know the person that owned it before and how well they took care of it.
Yeah, I think
But
a lot of customers are in that position.
I like to tell my clients, if you're going to buy a new car, then buy a car that's a year or two old. It's not technically, I think, not used. It's what we call pre-owned, right? And so
Been on
some
the
of
market.
the depreciation is gone.
Yes, yeah, that's the huge thing with pre-owned is you've gone through the biggest part of depreciation once you're purchasing that vehicle versus new. That's why if you're going to buy new, you're typically going to want to hang on to it longer, so that way you can make it through that depreciation period. But there is definitely a lot of benefits to buying pre-owned versus buying new.
Yeah, some people keep their cars like 10, 15 years, and I think that's cool. I don't know that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I love something that much.
that's how I am, and that's why I like to lease, is because I like something that's new and to see what the latest technology that's coming out. But
Yeah.
if you're not someone that's important to, they might go that pre-owned route because it's not something that they're super tied to.
So is there a better time of year to buy a car? Like it's spring better, or when the new models come out in the fall?
Yeah, they typically come out towards the fall, end of the year. So in general, I think everyone's still got that mindset of like end of the month is always going to be the best time to purchase a vehicle. But really every month the dealer, whether it be new or pre-owned, are always going to have different incentives and programs that are going to make buying as cost effective as possible. If you're someone that's not super picky on what it is that you're looking for, end of the year can be a great option because the dealer does have certain models that they need to move out to make room for those models that are coming in. So you can get some really great deals on those newer vehicles as well.
What makes them decide when, is it just trying to move a different model and they'll put large incentives on a certain vehicle? It's just because they have a lot of inventory and they're looking to.
Yeah, and a lot of times it can come directly from the manufacturer. Maybe they're getting ready to do a body redesign, so they're trying to move out that old body style and start bringing in those new vehicles, so they'll heavily incentivize that older body style. Or maybe it's a vehicle in general that they're just getting ready to discount or discontinue, so they'll also heavily incentivize those vehicles as well.
I think everybody kind of struggles with the whole trade-in, because I think like most people think, my car's worth this. And then they go in and they sit down with you and you're like, no, it's not.
Right.
And then you're like, but yes, it is. And then like Kelly Blue Book said it was this price and I think I could sell it on my own. Why should I trade it in? And they go through that whole thought process in their head, even though they might not be saying it out loud.
Right.
At least that's the thought process that I always went
Yeah,
through.
absolutely. No,
So-
I've gone through that as well, and then you almost get like a little bit of shock when it's not worth what you think that it is. that's why I think if you're going into the process of trading in a vehicle and purchasing something new, it is helpful to use tools like Kelley Blue Book, or even just to go on, any website now, because there's so many different tools that are out there, so you can get a general idea of what that vehicle is going for in the current market. And then also when you bring the vehicle in, make sure it's standing tall, have it cleaned on the inside, outside, having maintenance information for the vehicle. Those are things that, your pre-owned sales managers are going to take into account, because they have to, in their mind, think how much do I have to put into this vehicle to make it ready for the next person. So if they look at your vehicle and it's standing tall, then they're more inclined to give maybe more money versus a vehicle that comes in that's like, needs a lot of work. So that can definitely help, I think, speed up the process, and also help the buyer know, where they stand roughly as well, so they're not shocked when they come in to trade in that vehicle.
So you're saying put some elbow grease in there, get in there.
Yeah,
with the
a little car wash,
and,
vacuum it up a little bit, because when you come to purchase a vehicle, in your mind, if you came to look at a vehicle and it wasn't standing tall on the dealer's lot, or it wasn't clean, in your mind, you're like, I'm going to ask for a discount. This car doesn't look good.
Okay, so
it's
I can ask you, what's this term standing tall? Is that like a young person's term? Because I don't know.
I think it's probably a dealer term, if I should say.
I'm like, I don't know what standing tall is.
Yeah, just like presentable, like, looks good when you come in, that first initial impression. So when something looks great on the lot and it looks ready to be sold, or what we would say showroom new, those are things that we look for, or terms that we use when someone's trading in a vehicle.
I think it's difficult to sell a car, like just in the marketplace on your own, because I don't know that, my son bought a used car from some guy in Ypsilanti, and I'm like, how do you know it's a good used car?
Right.
At least if you bought from a dealership, you might pay a little bit more, but you know that it's been checked.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that there's some sort of pre-checklist that you go through, and you know
Gives you
you're not going to
some
drive it for a month and the alternator's going to go out.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a very valid point. I mean, when your vehicle comes in, it's going to go through our service department. It's going to go through safety checks, and if it's certified, it's going to go through an even larger, check over or look over of the vehicle. And those are some advantages too of buying from the dealer. There's less risk with it.
So what else should you be telling me that I have not asked?
I know we covered a lot of bases.
I got a great question.
Okay.
So when I moved. So I lived downriver, then I was in Royal Oak, and then I moved out to Waterford. And I had a dealer that I was used to using, but now it takes 45 minutes to an hour to get down there. So I had to find, my sister works for Ford, so I drive a Ford Explorer, so A plan or Z plan or whatever plan it is. So
One of the letters, right?
Makes it affordable for me. Plus, I love my Explorer. But I called the dealership. Luckily, it was a woman who answered the phone. He said, I'm your daughter. Who are you sending me to? Who is the salesperson in your showroom that you would send your daughter to?
Yeah,
Because a lot of men, not just in general, in the car industry, but in general, don't respect when a woman comes in. It's different. They're treated differently. So she sent me to a wonderful man who took very, very good care of me and treated me, even though we were probably the same age, like a daughter.
Yeah.
And I respect that. So at LaFontaine, how do you guys, like, do you have programs where you teach women to be, do you get what I'm trying to ask? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
How do you deal with that whole,
Yeah,
because that's hard walking in there because you're afraid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've experienced that myself even before I got into the automotive industry, and I really think it starts from the top down. The group that I work for, LaFontaine, I mean, we have a standard across the board that we treat everyone like family. So that's the expectation when it comes to our salespeople, to treat every customer that comes in, not just like your daughter, but your sister, your mother, your grandmother. And across the board, I know that all of our salespeople will show up for their customers like that. We live in a day and age now where there's too much information and there's too many dealers for us to not provide top-notch customer service and the most information, because they can go anywhere. They don't have to sit there and work with a male that they feel like is disrespectful to them or isn't providing them the information that they need. So I think regardless of where you go within LaFontaine, I think I can confidently say that you're going to get that type of treatment from anybody that you work with, because they would want that, vice versa as well. And in particularly in my position, it's really refreshing to see how many women do work in the industry now. I mean, my sales floor is, almost 50% of it, I would say, is
Really?
women now.
Wow.
From our sales managers to our sales rep to some of our most tenured salespeople are women that have been in the business for years. So I think that that's one refreshing thing that you can at least count on when you come to a LaFontaine store.
Yeah, I think that's important. And in my industry, it's getting better, but there are not a lot of female financial advisors.
And I'm sure that perception is probably the same way.
Yes.
And we've worked really, really hard to try and break that stigma of like, okay, this isn't the 80s anymore. We're not ripping people's heads off. We're not, it's not the way that it was. Even it's changed even just in the last 10 years.
Well, I think there's so much information out there that you can easily walk in and know what a vehicle's going to cost, and there's no more haggling.
Right.
And
no, that's a very valid point.
You can go in with information. About the features that you're looking for, and educate yourself enough that you want to be able to talk to somebody there who's should be more educated than you are, right? Because that they work there, they're the salesperson, but treated with that utmost respect.
Absolutely.
That you know what you're talking about.
Sales reps know that. They know that when you come in, every customer is an educated buyer now. They typically know what they want when they're coming in. It's our responsibility to answer all of the questions that we can to make sure that we're putting you in the right direction. So I think that definitely changes the approach as well.
Yeah, I think it does. It's even in my business, in my world, people are more educated about different investments, and they ask and bring a lot of questions to me, which I'm fine with. I have no problems answering those questions, but people are a lot more educated than they used to be.
Absolutely. That definitely, changes the game on both ends of it, but I think that actually makes the car buying experience a little bit easier. And I think a lot of customers feel like, when they're purchasing a vehicle, it's kind of like a game. Let me withhold some information, and maybe they won't try to do this or do that. And it's like the more information that you provide, the better experience that we can provide for a customer to make sure that we're answering those questions and putting you in the right direction.
I know that there's some people out there that think that they can go to just take me with you. I can negotiate you. I can get you a deal.
Yeah, no, and sometimes there's a little bit of room here or there, and maybe there's something you qualify for that'll always help out. But back to just buying information and the tools that are available, it keeps your local dealer honest across the board for whoever you're going to. So, what we're selling a vehicle for here, we might be a little bit more competitive, but you're not going to go down the road and find the same vehicle for $4,000 or $5,000 more, or whatever the difference may be.
Right. So, any last words?
I think my only advice that I would give in the car buying process is know that purchasing a vehicle is the second largest purchase that you're going to make. Give yourself some time. Like we said, ask lots and lots of questions. And I think that will really help the car buying experience for the next buyer.
Yeah, I tried to convince the dealership that I went to let me borrow the car for
extended test drive.
Yeah, and they're like, no.
Oh, I've had customers do that before.
Have you? Really?
Oh yeah, I had someone. They were taking a minivan, and the car came back. All the seats were down in the back. I'm like, oh, I think they made a Home Depot run.
Oh, really? No, I was like, I want to keep it over the weekend because I want to drive it, because I was looking at the new Bronco.
Oh, okay.
Which I did not like. But I'm like, because it is, like you said, it is a large purchase. So you want to know that you're making the right decision because of the depreciation when you pull it off.
Yeah.
You can't sell it for as much as you just paid for it.
Absolutely. A car will never be worth more than what you bought it for.
I have to tell you this. I'm extremely impressed with you.
Oh, thank you.
You are so polished. You're so knowledgeable. I'm like really impressed with you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
I've
for
been
being
very
here.
lucky to have a lot of good mentors and people who really care about my success, and it's been a fun journey. So.
Yeah, thank you for your wisdom, and
Well, thank you so much
it's
for
just
having
like
me.
you're like, I don't know, I was just super impressed with you.
Oh, thank you.
I really
Especially because I'm
appreciate
so nervous.
Oh, you did fine. I was the one that kept screwing up. So.
No.
So if you are looking for a new used or to lease a car, call Alexis. I'm sure she would answer any of the questions you have, share her knowledge with you. She's been extremely knowledgeable and shared her wisdom with us today, and I truly appreciate it. So this has been Unstoppable, where we dream, grow, and thrive. Thanks, and take care.
Thanks for watching Unstoppable. Do you have a question for Paula? Send it our way. To schedule a one-on-one consultation, give us a call. Unstoppable is brought to you by Paula Swain and the Financial Center for Women. Dream, grow, thrive.